Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We will officially get started. We want to thank everyone for attending what we have as the second public service advisory meeting. I actually thought it was the first, so we have so many meetings. I was told by my assistant this is actually the second one for this particular school year. So we thank you for returning and certainly sharing with our commitment to high performance and creating ways that we can work in collaboration to make sure that all students and staff succeed. So I want to bring to the podium Dr. Beasley, our superintendent of schools, who will bring updates today. I know that you received some data updates previously, and we have some exciting news to share. And if you have any questions, we'll hold those to the end, okay? And we certainly expect others to join us momentarily. Thank you. Dr. Beasley.
Thank you, Jada. Good morning, everyone. Well, it's always good to see everyone, and our goal is to really continue to engage our community and those who are here and to share information, give you an opportunity to ask questions, and then, of course, we don't want to keep you any longer than we need to because we know we're all very busy. We're all very, very busy. We do have a very quick agenda today. Before we get into the agenda, I do want to at least give everyone, all of our persons who are here, public service, if you will, members who are here, if you would just share your name, your organization, your role, and just thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Looks like we have one here today, and so you'll know the rest of us are on staff.
Felicia Holloway, Director of Field Services, Georgia State Board of Fire and Schools.
We're glad to have you here. Glad to have you here. So what we'd like to do today is, of course, we've already really shared this advisory opportunity, vision, core beliefs, and strategic goals. What we'd like to do today is basically give you an opportunity to hear where we believe we're continuing to make progress, and possibly to just share some other areas that we're working on relative to, I think, public safety and how important it is for us to continue as a community to inform our community, to focus on our data, to ensure that safety is a top priority. We believe we can't really teach children if they're not safe. They don't feel safe. And to also let you know what we're doing relative to some expectations that we have here in our school system. So the first thing I'd like to do is pull out this document here, kind of like an overview, the district's overview. We want to first acknowledge that our grad rates are improving. And so for the first time in the history of our county, our overall district grad rate is above 70%. And we have 11 comprehensive high schools, all of them are above 70%. Out of the 11, 7 are above 80%. And out of the 7 above 80%, 2 are at 100%. And the 4 that are in the 70s, at the rate that they increased from the previous year, I'm confident that they'll be in the 80s within a year or so. The goal is to move all of our high schools to the 90s within the next 5 years, at a minimum of 90%. We have one alternative high school. Its grad rate is 34, almost 35%. And while we expected that grad rate to be somewhat challenging, we were pleased when we compared our alternative school with grad rates in the metro area that our alternative school had one of the highest grad rates. So we know we're doing the right things. And I often say the alternative school is our solution to oftentimes the students who, for whatever reason, could not graduate on time, probably would have dropped out of school, but we're providing them an alternative, a more appropriate environment for them to finish their high school diploma. When I say alternative school, it's just an alternate option from a traditional high school. It doesn't mean that they're there because they've been disruptive, or they're there because of a negative reason. It could just be life is happening to those young people, and we want them to stay in school and navigate their life situation because we believe that they'll do better in life if at least they have a high school education. But our goals about 60% of our kids are reading on or above grade level, and about 25% are proficient. So one thing that we're looking at right now, we're addressing high expectations across the board. Not only are we addressing high expectations, but we're also addressing instructional quality. You know, how can kids read but they can't pass the test, and they're coming to school every day? That's not a child's issue. That's not a student issue. In our assessment, that's an instructional issue. And so we're working to move instruction to the levels that we believe will prepare kids to do well on not just state assessments, but any assessment, ACT, SAT, advanced placement assessments, etc. We believe that the adults, we have to have higher expectations as evidence in our practices, So to that end, you should know that we are right now, so you're the only one here, you're one of the first to hear this. We are having internal conversations about not just a group of our students having or us having high expectations for a group of our students, but we're looking at taking away all the gaps in expectations. So how are you going to do that? Well, we're looking at our systems, and the research is clear. School systems that remove the systems of barriers that prevent all children from accessing, those are the school systems that achieve high performance. And so I just want to share a few things that we're looking at. And we have some of the curriculum team members here who are working offline to really flesh out what this looks like when we roll it out in January for our board and community to hear. The first thing, our goal is to ensure that all 8th graders take algebra, because the research is clear. Algebra is a gatekeeper course. And so what we're going to be doing, our rising 5th graders, who will be 6th graders next year, we will be teaching our 6th graders the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade curriculum in 2 years. So all 6th graders will get the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade content standards in 2 years. 6th and 7th grade. So that means when they get to 8th grade, they will all begin algebra. The goal is for all students to have 4 years of at least math so that they end with calculus. We know the research is clear that if our kids can take algebra and do successful, that not only does it predict access to college, it predicts completion of college as well. And so that's one area that we are taking away. We've got a lot of kids who come from educated households, they're doing it. But why not all kids? And so we're removing that low expectation, and we're expecting all of our kids in Clayton, starting with the rising 6th graders next fall. And we'll prepare them. That gives us 2 years to train teachers to ensure that we're only focusing on the standards that they need to focus on in grades 6 and 7, so they can actually do algebra in the 8th grade. And we're creating a safety net. So let's say we have some 8th graders who don't do very well in algebra. That's okay. We're going to provide support during the 8th grade year, but they will be able to go into accelerated algebra in the 9th grade year. The goal is for them to be successful in algebra. And so we're working and thinking through that. So that's one area that we will have high expectations of all students. Another area would be, as we look at our high school courses, starting with our 9th graders next year, we are working to ensure that if there are courses, low-level courses that have standards that are the same standards as advanced placement courses, we're removing the low-level courses out of the curriculum. We expect those kids to go into advanced placement. And so an example of that would be 9th grade geography, world geography. World geography is world geography, whether you take it as a regular course or an advanced placement course. So we're just removing the regular course, and we want all kids who take world geography to take it as an advanced placement course. They'll get the rigor, hopefully they'll get the college credit, and they would have started that in the 9th grade year. Another example would be environmental science. Environmental science is environmental science whether you take it as regular environmental science or whether you take it as advanced placement of environmental science. And so we're removing the option, if you will, of regular. If you take environmental science, if you don't have another AP course, then you'll take that as AP environmental science. So the goal is, and we'll have similar courses in the 11th grade year and similar courses in the 12th grade year. The goal is by the time our kids get to that senior year, they would have had the opportunity to earn at least, I would say, a minimum of 2 or 3 AP credits. all students, not just a few, but all students. Will they all go to college? We would hope they do. But will they at least be prepared to go? Yes, they will be prepared to go. So another area that we're looking at, and I should say this, that as we increase our expectations of all students, we're also considering, right now, we're around the table debating what we're going to propose to our board relative to uniforms. And so the high school students have been very clear, and they're tired of uniforms. And we're okay with that. We understand where the high school students are coming from. But this is what we would say. If we make a recommendation that we relax uniforms at the high school level, then I am going to also make a recommendation to increase instruction expectations. So if students want something, they got to do what? Give something. And I'm hopeful that our community will support us. We have decided as a team that there is no other school system in the metro area that's our model, because everybody else tiptoes around us, and that's why they have such dismal data and achievement. We have decided to be the model. And so we're moving our entire community to high expectations. So more to come in those areas. I just wanted to highlight ongoing conversations and information that we will be rolling out and sharing with our board. It's amazing everywhere I've gone and shared what we're planning and discussing, our parents are excited because they've been wanting a school system that offers all kids high expectations. And so we're going to do it. We're going to do it right. We recognize that kids will need support, teachers will need training, and we're, through our planning, ensuring that those things occur. We're very pleased that, well, how do you know if you're going in the right direction? Well, all we can do is look at our data. Our SAT scores moved in the right direction. Our ACT scores moved in the right direction this year. We had no schools on the governance list, unlike many others in the metro area. We had only one school on the state's CSI list, that's a comprehensive school intervention, I believe, intensive support list. One school on that list, and we didn't have any schools on that list because they were in the 5% lowest performing. We only had the Perry Academy on the list because of the grad grade. We knew it would be on the list. And we believe that the state, they knew they didn't have to put that school on the list. They just couldn't let Clayton get by when I had one school on their list. And so we'll take that. But even prior to the list being released, we were meeting with the state, and they've shared that clearly our work is the right work, and it's just a matter of time for all of our data catches up with the work that we're doing in our schools. And I'll say this, we've shared this with the community. We are working, we're one of the school districts in a consortium, if you will, of school districts that are planning to move away from the state's Georgia milestone assessments. And so within the next 5 years, we have state board approval, and we're waiting on the state to submit the application to the U.S. Department of Ed. And I anticipate that we'll get their approval as well, but we're going to use a new assessment at the same time of the next, this year we're piloting the assessment in 3 schools, and over the next 3 to 4 years, all schools will take on this new assessment. It will be what we call the GMAP, Georgia something assessment program. What's the M for? I can't remember. Measures of assessment and progress. There we go. But over the next several years, our students will take an assessment at the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, and the end of the year. And that data will be used to inform instruction. And it will also give us a proficiency status at the end of the year. That's the intention. And so if the state accepts, and it sounds like they will, accepts the data, and instead of our kids taking the Georgia milestones, they'll use our data to determine whether or not our kids are proficient. But the most important thing about it is just not a one event at the end of the year. We're getting data throughout the year so we can actually help students as we move along. And so we're one of the large districts, probably I think they needed us because we were one of the largest districts to be a part. And so the State Board of Education approved us, and now we're waiting on the U.S. Department of Education. That information, again, has been shared with all, and we'll provide updates periodically as we transition. And lastly, on the agenda, I want to share that we made it through the election yesterday. And so now we are focusing, not that we hadn't been, but now we're focused on the next election, which is the March 19th referendum on our SPLOST. It's a vote that our community will basically exercise to decide whether or not they want to continue with the one penny on And we have several projects planned. Our construction dial they're running as we're planning and running. Let's see if I can get it right, okay? We've got a new STEM high school, Morrow High School, a new STEM middle school, Forest Park Middle School, a new STEM elementary school in the Lovejoy area. We've got a new college and career academy that will be centrally located, where right now we're debating whether to use the old Morrow High School campus or actually pursue land where we think we'll use that campus and just renovate it and gut it out and make a great college and career academy there. We've got the continuation of our one-to-one initiative where we're giving all of our 3rd grade through 12th grade students a Chromebook. We started this year with over, I think, about 1,000 students, and depending on the outcome of the next SPLOS referendum, we'll continue next year and the next 3 to 4 years, ensuring that all kids in grades 3 through 12 have a Chromebook device that they can use during the instructional process. It becomes a part of, just like we issue a textbook, it becomes a part of their instructional resources as they navigate and learn in our schools. I want to say we've got renovations slated. We've got always HVAC upgrades slated. Oh, there we go, right there. We've got HVAC upgrades identified. And those things are important because our school system, our schools, they get old, and we want to make sure that the air is working on August 6th or August 5th or whatever the first day of school is. And not only on the first day, but when it gets warm and when it gets cold, we want heat working, when it's hot, we want air working. We often tell the HVAC companies, if your air doesn't work on the days it's hot, why is it called HVAC? Right? Why is it called AC? If it's not working, we want it working. And so this allows us to continue being the model school system that we are working to be. Of course, purchasing new school buses, Mr. Walker will always share that he wants to keep a current fleet because after so many years, you gotta upgrade, right? And so that's a part of the ongoing work. And as you can see, if the voters approve the referendum, the collection will begin January 2020 through December of 2024. And this will be called SPLOS 6. And so we're encouraging our community to decide what it wants to do. We've been very clear about the projects. Our audits have only shown that our SPLOS program is impeccable, run very well, and so we hope that we have the confidence of our community to continue with this work. I often say, and I have to say this, if the referendum doesn't pass, someone said, how will these things get done? Well, they will not get done because the SPLOS would be the only funding revenue source that we have in order to get these things accomplished. So, I think that brings us to the information that I have to share, and I'll pause here to see if you have any questions, any comments, any feedback for us, and you got the whole team on it. You got the whole team.
But it is encouraging that you all are addressing math. That was one of the areas that I always struggled with all the way through college. And as you all know, if you miss a step somewhere along the way, you don't get that step back. And it's just hard. So it's just, I think that's awesome that you all are addressing that and addressing it when you are addressing it. So I'll leave you with this. If there's anything that you all need from me, I'm also a member of Noble as well. So if you need anything from Noble, just let us know.
Very good. What I like, I know we've been working with the Juvenile Justice Department to really ensure that our kids who are coming from the Juvenile Justice Department, they transition rather successfully back into our schools. So Chief, if you could share what we've been doing lately, especially, it's a new effort. And I'm surprised it's new, but it is new, that we're being invited to meetings where kids are coming back to the schools. We're being invited to meetings to sit as a plan to transition for these kids to come back into our schools. And so we share that initiative.
Thank you, sir. We're really pleased with the opportunity that we have to work with the Department of Juvenile Justice, because prior to we didn't do that. We worked and collaborated with the Youth Detention Center. A lot of times people don't understand that there's a clear line between the juvenile detention center versus Department of Juvenile Justice. And what we didn't know is that we didn't have a concrete strategy in place to address the needs of those kids who were transitioning from detention back into our school system. And what Dr. Beasley wanted to do is he wanted to make sure that we had the wraparound services there for those students, because we clearly understand, and I know you understand, recidivism is very high if we don't have things in place to wrap our arms around those individuals. So now we have a partnership with the Department of Juvenile Justice, and I actually spearhead the committee to where they're going to give us notification when those students are going to return, and then we're going to bring those services together that we can provide from a district perspective, as well as our partnership with our outside agencies, so that we can determine, first of all, what school is most suitable for this individual based on the crime that the person committed. And let me pause there for a minute, because this is important. Let's say we had a kid who was confined for sexual assault, where you can't put that child back in the school where the victim is. So we have to look at, okay, what's the best opportunity for this student to be successful without impacting the individual who was also offended. So it's kind of complex when you look at that. Then what about the social needs and the mental health needs of that particular person who has been incarcerated? So we want to look at that, and we want to look at Dr. Nunez's department for that. We also want to get with Dr. Simpson. We want to look at the strategies. Okay, what academic support can we provide for this student that would maximize that person's potential? Because based on the educational level of the student when he was incarcerated versus that person's age, that person might be more suitable for adult education versus back into the population. So I think this collaboration that was basically initiated by Dr. Beasley will be more impactful for the student, and I think our recidivism numbers will go down, and we'll have a better student that we produce in the district.
Very good. And I think it's important to note that, the discipline is improving. We dropped in the 10 top discipline areas, we dropped in all of those areas from the previous school year to last school year, and we're on track to drop again this year. So we know we're doing the right work. It's just ensuring that we get rid of all the gaps and that we have high expectations for all students. So this team is serious, it's passionate about the work. We realize that it takes a collaborative effort between us, principals, teachers, parents, and all. And we're committed to getting that done. Okay. Any other comments, team? Any questions? Comments?
When you said that the discipline is dropped, what does that do?
Oh, I'll let Dr. Simpson, Dr. Simpson lead all the students. That's definitely school improvement. And we got a curriculum person here. I assure you, it's a combination of teaching and learning and what's happening relative to school culture and economy. It's a merge.
Yeah, and that's it. It is. So when you look at discipline, most people think of it as punishment and consequences. But you have to look at it in terms of support and intervention. Because if you have the support and intervention out front, then that will help to mitigate or negate the consequences. So it's very, very easy for us to say, well, we'll suspend the kid for 3 days, but do we have the support and intervention and resources that's going to have an impact on that child where he or she, once they return back to school, has a different philosophy, has different strategies on how to monitor their behavior or avoid those types of certain situations or circumstances so that they can have that successful experience in a classroom setting. Also, we don't expect for our teachers for their first interaction or their first response to be that this is a child who has displayed a discipline problem. We recognize that there are some social emotional challenges that will also are likely to be engaged or taking place that may cause a child to act inappropriately. It's the difference between acknowledging whether this is a student that's having a challenge due to mental illness or whether it's truly a discipline problem. And so our teachers are being trained to be able to identify and acknowledge that there are some challenges that might be existing with those students, so those teachers can use those same strategies with a positive behavior intervention support which is a framework for how to reward students for their positive behavior, and also some strategies or some alternatives that they can use before just get out of my class and go to the discipline assistant principal. It's providing the support and intervention out front. All of that was inclusive in the training that our leaders took place with our leaders. When we talk about culture and climate, it's the feel of the school, it's the look of the school, but more particularly, it's the look and the feel of the classroom. Because the classroom environment has to have a culture that's conducive to teaching and learning. You can be the best teacher, but if the culture and the climate of the classroom is not conducive to where you can actually teach and children can learn, then nothing is going to take place. So we place emphasis on the areas where we know that will impact the children more so than just focusing on discipline. Those days are gone. When I did the zero tolerance era, Joe Clark lean on me had its time, but that's not the time. Suspensions don't even work anymore. It's better to keep children in school, in class, because when they get those instructional hours and that instructional time, then we know that our outcomes and our results are much better.
And I just like Dr. Lee will share the work that we're doing in teaching and learning, and what we're doing to really change the culture in our classroom.
Good morning. Yes, so we know that many times discipline is an outward manifestation of something else that's occurring. And so as we're continuing to work with our leaders and teachers, we've been talking about how are we looking at students' data to really pinpoint their instructional academic needs. So as we're working to create the learning environment, we're also working to engage the student in that learning environment. Make the learning relevant to the student's interests, but also contextualizing it into a real-world situation. We have implemented several readiness tools that assist teachers with creating personalized learning. So we have online programs as well, coupled with good teacher instructional practices. So if a student is struggling in reading, so when a teacher is working with the student face-to-face, but also there's an opportunity for that student to engage in an online resource that's personalized to his or her needs. And so all of those coupled with the learning environment, with culture and climate, is helping to truly make sure our students are engaged in the learning. And that helps to alleviate discipline problems. So perfect, no. Exactness, no. But moving in the right direction, yes.
I'll just close by saying, I think if you listen to what we're doing, and Dr. Simpson mentioned the tour we're doing, the Seeing is Believing tour, we'd love for you to come on that tour. So you can, we're inviting people in to see what's happening in our schools. So sometimes just seeing gives you a better idea other than us just talking about it. But we're disrupting that culture of low expectations. And to be very honest, HR, or even all of us will get a contract next year that is very clear that we should all be engaged in professional learning. Because how can we expect our kids to learn if we're not learning? Superintendent and all, we all have to learn. And that's exactly what we're doing. So we're disrupting a culture of low performance, which I believe is causing the shift in the outcomes. And over time, we're going to see that data, and even the momentum is going to increase, and we're going to see more kids proficient, more kids reading and doing math on or above grade level because of the things that we discussed. But we're changing a culture where we're not just babysitting, we're actually educating kids and providing them the tools, the readiness to be college and career and life ready, the skill set. We're focused on higher order thinking questions, building the 4 C's, collaboration, critical thinking, communication, and creativity across all content areas. And we're monitoring that to see if those skills are being developed in our students. And it's really transforming what's happening in our schools and in our classrooms. We're innovating. We've got some innovative school choice options, and we're continuing. We're offering advanced placement clearly at all high schools. We've got the IB program, International Baccalaureate, but now we're offering the Cambridge program as well. We've got dual immersion in Spanish, but we'll be rolling out dual immersion in French in the fall, and we'll be in the fall after, I think it's 2020, dual immersion in Spanish and in Chinese. And so we're just creating this whole culture where when you come to Clayton, this is what you get. It's not a low bar experience. It's a high bar, high expectation experience. And all of us us in here, we all know the value, yourself included, of a great education, a great K-12 education, and clearly a post-secondary education. And so it's our passion, it's our mission that all of our kids are educated, because we know in the society that they live in, it's one's education that's separating from those who have and those who don't have. We don't want our children assigned to the group of those who don't have, because they don't have a great education. Well, thank you for coming, and we'll see you the next time, okay? Thanks, everybody.